Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on the Epic Game Store freebie for the day, and damn it, is it a good one that I highly recommend you to take advantage of on this Christmas Eve. And if they're offering something like this free on Christmas Eve, I'm really curious what they're going to offer on Christmas Day, because it's got to be pretty spicy, at least I would imagine, given that last year they did give away Death Stranding, and initially it was Death Stranding Director's Cut. So we'll talk all about that with a big freebie there. And then also, I do want to give you guys a heads up over at Green Man Gaming. If you're an XP member, some of the games that you might be looking at as a part of the Steam Winter Sale are the Square Enix titles, but you can get considerably better deals on them if you are an XP member at Green Man Gaming. You get XP membership by just buying stuff at GMG, so definitely something to take advantage of, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, Ghostwire Tokyo is the freebie over on the Epic Game Store. Wow, what a great freebie this is. Now, is Ghostwire Tokyo a perfect game? No, I wouldn't say that, but is it a good one? Yeah, I would definitely say it's a good game. I was actually given a copy of this game by Bethesda back when it came out for review, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Its shortcomings were that the game is a little bit on the shorter side. So if you primarily focus on the single player, or excuse me, the main story stuff, you can complete this game fairly quickly. Like, we're talking 11 to 13 hours, but it isn't an open world, a more contained open world, but a sizable amount of content with it. Now, the side content is kind of mid, but it's still, there's some decent stuff to it, but some of it gets a little bit redundant. The story starts off incredibly compelling. You have this very fascinating main antagonist. You have a very fascinating overall story and a lot of mystery, and then kind of just falls apart. The pacing isn't great, and the latter half of the story really, that's where the pacing really falls apart, in my opinion. And then also, the ending, in my opinion, just wasn't satisfying whatsoever, so that was really disappointing. I will say, I really dug the gameplay of the game, and what I would recommend you is that if you play this game, I remember, while playing this game, that in the skill tree, there's an ability called the Tengu Summon ability. Get that ability as immediately as possible, as quickly as possible, and that essentially adds like a grappling hook mechanic to the game, and it makes traversing the world so much better that you should definitely take advantage of that. But yeah, great freebie here. It is a game that's available on Xbox Game Pass, and it goes on sale for sub $20 these days, but man, for free, yeah, definitely go check this out, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. By the way, done by Tango Gameworks, the same guys that brought you the great Evil Within games, and this one definitely a little bit more expansive. I'll also add, sound design in this game is excellent, sound direction is great, voice acting is really good, whether you go the English or the Japanese voice acting. I thought both were done fairly well, but the Japanese voice acting is really good, and I would recommend it from that standpoint. Kind of got like that RGG vibe going on, where if you play the RGG games with the English voice acting, yeah, people are gonna think some type of way about you. But with Ghostwire Tokyo, I thought the English voice acting was pretty good, and the Japanese voice acting was really good. They also updated this game with a Spider's Thread update that added a new game mode, new content into the main story. So they did a pretty good job updating the game as well, and obviously also, Tango Gameworks recently put out Hi-Fi Rush, so I feel like they're one of the more talented studios in all of gaming when you look at their output these days, and Hi-Fi Rush is a game that's on sale. Our buddies at GMG have it 36% off for $19.12, would strongly recommend that. Another game that is available on Game Pass, but that game was tremendous. And Ghostwire Tokyo, while I wouldn't say back in 2022 was Game of the Year caliber, I would say it was a solid 7.5 out of 10, around that range. And the elemental combat style, I thought, was really well done as well. So definitely go check that out. Available for free on the Epic Game Store. Once you add it to your library, it will be yours free forever. So definitely go ahead and pick that up. A lot of value there in terms of just getting that for free. One of the better ones. And the Epic Game Store freebies recently, I feel like, have been pretty good. With Destiny 2 and the DLC, obviously Destiny 2 base game is a free-to-play. Art of Rally, DNF Duel, Ghostwire Tokyo, Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition. I get it that Fallout 3 is a 15-year-old game, but, it's still Fallout 3. I feel like that game is so iconic that offering that for free is going to interest some people. And now Ghostwire Tokyo, that's a pretty damn good one, so definitely go check that out. Moving on from that, I do want to highlight Square Enix titles. Probably some of those games that you want to pick up on the Steam Winter Sale. I will let you guys know that if you are an XP member over at Green Man Gaming, they have the Square Enix titles, the same ones that Steam do, but with that 20% off on top of the Steam price. So Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, for example, $28 instead of $35. Nier Automata Game of the Yorha Edition, $12.80 instead of $16. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, $24 instead of $30, which I think, pretty good deal for Crisis Core, and definitely a game a lot of you guys should jump on and play, especially if you're excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, given that Zack is going to be a pretty integral character in FF7 Rebirth. He's all over the promotional material of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so I feel like at this point that's not spoilers whatsoever, given that they're kind of spoiling it themselves, that Zack's going to be a big part of that game. Octopath Traveler 2, 44% off for $33.59 instead of $42. Sleeping Dogs, $2.40 instead of $3. I have been talking ad nauseum about that game, and I feel like you guys should check it out. Nier Replicant is $19.20 instead of, I believe it's $24 on Steam. Forspoken is seeing a deeper discount. Tactics Ogre Reborn is $20 instead of $28.70. Instead of 20. What is it, like $25? Yeah, $25 on Steam. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin seeing a deeper discount. Final Fantasy 15 only $11.20. Look, I have my opinions on Final Fantasy 15, but for $11.20. That is a damn good deal. And overall, FF15 is still a pretty decent game. It's just, I wasn't crazy about the storytelling. The fact that, you know, if you really want to get everything, you had to watch the movie. And then back when we initially got it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, the DLC wasn't a part of the game. And the DLC does tie up the story a little bit nicer. So, yeah. And you get that with the Windows Edition. You just don't get Episode Arden, which is a separate piece of DLC. Chrono Cross The Radical Dreamers Edition, 60% off for $8, which is really good. Final Fantasy 12 The Zodiac Age, 68% off for $16. I really dug Final Fantasy 12, and I remember when Final Fantasy 12 initially came out, it was a game that kind of saw a mixed reception, not from the critics. If you look up the Metacritic score, it's probably in the 90s on Metacritic, but from a fan standpoint, I remember a lot of people being a little bit disappointed by the game based on the fact that the gameplay style was a little bit different than the turn-based style a lot of people were used to, played more like an MMO as far as the gameplay style goes. And, you know, Vaughn isn't the greatest Final Fantasy main character in the world. He certainly isn't a Cloud, a Clive, so to speak, but he's okay, and really the best characters in this game are like Ash and Balthier and Botch, and those characters are great. But $16 on that. Live Alive is $24 instead of $30. So you guys get the idea. The deals are much better on Green Man Gaming, and you get Steam keys for all of them. The caveat is you cannot take advantage of Steam refunds. I always like to be transparent with you guys when it comes to that kind of stuff, but if you're planning on buying these games anyway, you know, that's not a big deal, and these games are going to be fairly lengthy, so it's not like you could get much out of playing 90 minutes to 2 hours of them outside of just figuring out how they perform, but for the most part, these games all perform pretty well. And Final Fantasy VII Remake, while it had a lot of issues at launch when it came out on the Epic Game Store, at this point, my experience with the game has been phenomenal. I played it on PC, I played it on my ROG Ally, I played it on Steam Deck, ran well on all of those platforms, which is really remarkable. It runs really well on the Steam Deck, which is nice to see. But that is going to do it for me. Again, Ghostwire Tokyo, available free right now over on the Epic Game Store. One of the best freebies thus far of the year, to be perfectly honest. There's been some good freebies, but Ghostwire Tokyo is a damn good one that I would strongly recommend. And the Square Enix sale at Green Man Gaming, certainly do check that out. A lot of great offers there as well. So check all that out. Links in the description box below. That is going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.